I was always curious about what the human body could possibly do. I found myself drawn to its untapped potential, and what unfolded next was a series of challenges, achievements, self-discovery, and all in the backdrop of Ironman training. I was always curious about how I could push myself physically and mentally, and that was because of endurance camps that I had in Boys Brigade while I was in secondary school. Every time I thought that I couldn't do something that they told me to do, I did it eventually. That just sparked the curiosity in me on what more I could possibly do. So I was 15 at that point. It was during that time where I saw this video of these two women crawling past the finish line at Ironman Kona, and I told myself that I would do an Ironman before I was 25. But I didn't do anything about it until I was 21. It actually started when I was in the army. So I was in my 20s and I had a knee injury. And the knee injury restricted me from doing basic things like running, and that was extremely depressing for me. That was when I remembered that I had my Ironman goal, and that was when I finally decided to take action towards it. So starting out Ironman training felt very foreign. I didn't know anyone around me doing it, let alone my age group. I didn't even know that there were triathlon communities in Singapore. I was clear on what I wanted to do from the start, but few people around me actually understood the magnitude of the goal. All I knew in my mind was that I wanted to explore my physical and mental limits, as well as get the bragging rights of being called an Ironman. As the journey went along, the reasons behind doing the Ironman constantly evolved. So these were the different stages throughout my Ironman journey. In 2021, it was filled with back-to-back injuries, so there was almost no consistent training. 2022 was when I focused more on the endurance part of things, and I did my first ever Olympic distance triathlon, followed by my first ever full marathon. 2023 was when I realized that this is the year where I could become an Ironman, and the next 10 months was just a roller coaster. Triathlon prep at the start of the year was actually very mentally draining. I was self-coached for most of it, and I had to come up with training plans based off what I learned online as well as from friends. This was while I was still studying and was also trying to create content to grow my personal brand. Things took a turn when I started my full Ironman training in June. Everyone I asked who has done an Ironman before said that the training was more intense than the race itself. And I didn't really understand this until I was in the training. The past 4 months was just filled with many hours of swimming, cycling and running. At times it felt very mindless and I just felt like I was doing it for the sake of doing it. But that was when I realized the idea of delayed gratification. The results of the efforts that I was putting in during training will only surface much later. So that was what the 4 months looked like all the way up until the race. That was the point where I could see the end to all the hard work and training that I was putting in. That was the day I became an Ironman.
All the best to the team. Also, don't come back without the applause and love impression. Since when Joran said this?
Okay, so after almost 2 years of triathlon training and 4 months of focus prep, today is finally the day that we're going to do the Ironman triathlon. As what I mentioned earlier, the reasons of doing the Ironman constantly evolved. I wanted the physical fitness, the mental fitness, and the discipline of what it takes to become an Ironman. But more importantly, the reasons of why I wanted to do an Ironman were bigger than just myself. It was about the people around me. So the first reason was how I wanted to inspire people to go and chase after unrealistic goals despite the odds that you're given. The second reason was that people believed in me. This meant that not doing the Ironman was almost disrespectful to them as well as myself. Now that it's all over, I genuinely don't feel complete. Throughout the prep, I always told myself to go and chase the Ironman. But at the same time, there was more to life than just a race. There was always going to be a gap that I have to fill to be a better person. The person that I idolize is the person that I'm going to be in the next 5 years. So that's why, as much as this was a big accomplishment, I never really felt a full sense of satisfaction, because there's always going to be more after this. Moving forward has no finish line.